Alright, today on Everyday Tactical Vids, we're going to be talking about EDC bags. Here's what my bag looks like. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but before we get into talking about what's actually in the bag, I just want to talk about my personal philosophy for an EDC bag. So, I call it an EDC bag because that's what it is, my everyday carry bag. It is not a bailout bag, it is not a bug out bag, it is not really a survival bag per se. This is a EDC bag that all the items in it are going to be, I'm going to say about 75% of them are items that I would probably have to use on a pretty regular basis. General use items to help me be effective in what I'm doing day to day, or if little crisis situations pop up. The other 25% are probably going to be things I would categorize as for emergency or really intense or survival situations. So when you see what I have in the bag, you're going to notice that I don't have, multiple layers of clothing or a huge shelter system or something like that. This is, I was talking to one of my buddies about it, and he was saying that when he thinks of his bailout bag, he thinks of a bag that bails him out of the situations he's most likely to face. So for example, he carries saline solution in his bag, so he's got contact solution for his wife, so if she forgets her contact solution, he's got some. Now, is that a life or death crisis? Probably not, but in his life, if his wife doesn't have things to take care of her contacts, then that could be a really tough situation if they're going out to, have an afternoon out, just the two of them, and she forgets that and she needs some. So that's what I'm saying, is that that's not a life or death crisis, but it's the most likely situations that are to pop up. So what you're going to see here is that, yeah, I've got an extra folding blade in my bag. I've got a flashlight. I've got some options to start fire. I've got some paracord. But the vast majority of the items I keep in my bag are for everyday use or things that might pop up or are likely to pop up. So this is not a grab my bag and run to the woods because the whole government has broken down. We're talking about the likely situations to happen just day to day. And so as you look at the bag, keep that in mind because that's what it's really based on. All right, let's take a look at what's in the bag. Now that you've heard my philosophy on my EDC bag and what purpose it serves for me, let's get into the actual items. On the outer pocket here, you can see I got a couple patches. And then inside, first thing, I got some repel there, keep the bugs away. Nasty buggers in the warm weather here in New Hampshire. I do have my spool tool, and this has a lighter built in, so now I've got a fire option with me. Definitely want to encourage you to check out the review. Put a link right here. Great item from spooltool.us. Check those guys out. Let's see. I got just a cheap basic poncho in here. This is from Ozark Trail. It's just a Walmart brand, but in case I do get caught out in a storm, I've got this with me. What else in here? Got some Bible information for anybody who wants to talk about Jesus with me. I'm always prepared to do that. And then I've got my balance bar here. Always going to keep some food with me, just in case I'm out in a situation where there's nothing around and I get hungry. Now I got some food in the bag there. That pocket is empty. Got one of these old school pens. You probably remember these from growing up. They have the green, the black, the red, and the blue option there. So keep that on the outside so I can grab it if I got to take notes on something. And then always keep a Sharpie with me. This is good to have, just, if you have to write a note in some sort of permanent form, that's the item to have for you. Over here I keep my Kershaw tension. And I've always got a blade on me as far as an EDC blade. And this is just kind of a backup. So nice wide blade. I like this guy a lot. But always nice to have an extra knife with you. They say, two is one and one is none, so that's why I got the extra blade with me. Down here in the front, this is kind of an optional item, but I do keep a full tang knife with me. This is the Schrade SCHF13. You can see Schrade here over on the blade. But if I'm out and about doing something and I want to, there we go, and I want to get out in the woods and do some wilderness survival stuff, work on some skills, now I've got a full tang knife with me. If I'm going into a place that this is just not going to be appropriate to have, I'll leave it at home or leave it in the car, leave it in the trunk. But I do have this with me when I head out, just in case I do want to get into the woods, and I've got a full tang knife. This is not for any self-defense purposes or whatever. This is just for working on my wilderness survival skills. And then also down in this front pocket, I got a bunch of zip ties. And I think these are the 6-inch ones. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, got 6 in here. So just general use, especially, if you got to fix something in a car. I do keep some of these in my car survival kit, but good to have some of these around. over on the end here, got my water bottle. You can see you got some of my original SWAT stickers on there. Great company, make great gear. This will obviously keep me hydrated. And then down here, this pocket I just keep empty in case I gotta throw odds and ends in there. So right now, that is empty. Spinning around to the other side here. Make sure it's on the camera so you can see. Over here, I've got this is my old school Surefire G2. And this is a non-LED light, but I keep this with me. This has got just a lot of power for a very simple light, and I got this for a low, actually I think I got it for free to review from a company, so that's why I keep this on me. I actually lent this out to a kid the other day who was riding his bike in the dark. He wouldn't let me, it was a student I know from our church. He didn't want to leave his bike, and he wanted to ride home, so I gave him this light so he actually had a way to see while he was in the dark. And then the other thing over here is the fire starter with a little blade, a little striker blade, and you can see the link here if you want to check out more about this. Cool here because you have the magnesium, you got the ferro rod, you do have a thermometer on the front, and then you have a compass on top. So that's all that's in that pocket. This center pocket, these two little ones, I do have some acetaminophen, so I got to take blood pressure medication, so I can't take ibuprofen, but so I've got this, you know, in case I get a headache, aches and pains, in that tiny pocket. And then over here, I keep dental floss with me, and I keep a needle on the back, just taped to the back, make sure all the points are covered effectively. But I use this instead of thread, because if anything breaks, this is definitely very, very solid, much more solid than thread. So this is 55 yards, and obviously if you need dental floss, you can obviously use this as well. I'm just noticing now that it says mint, so anything I sew is going to smell fresh and delicious as well. There's that pocket. Over in this pocket, I've got some, this is a great item, my Tide to Go stick. You know, I'm out having to teach or do something out in public, and so if I get a little stain on my shirt, boom, I got my Tide to Go stick, keeping me safe, looking good. And this is Potable Aqua. This is just a cheap one from Coleman again, but now if I ever have a situation where I need to get some water and there's nothing clean around as far as, you know, Giardia, things like that, I've got some Potable Aqua with me. Ooh, this guy just popped off here, but this is a WD-40 pen, as you can see, the No Mess pen. And this is great, you know, if you have anything in your car, just in general use, something that needs some sort of WD-40 oil, whatever it is, you can certainly keep this. And if you keep it upright and the cap doesn't pop off, won't have any issues whatsoever. Let's see. This is just a tiny little lamb that my daughter had when she was growing up, and since I just got ordained as a pastor, so I guess I'm a shepherd of the sheep, so I keep this in my bag just as a little something extra, remind me of family and my job. Let's see, I've got, these are from ITW. These are Warrior wipes. They're kind of they're like wet ones, but in a compact package. So, you know, if I need to clean something, obviously got that with me. One of these little notepads, and this thing is great just for jotting down, you know, you forget something, or you're out in the woods, out camping, whatever, and you're in your car, let's even say, and you remember, oh, you know, I gotta remember that to pick that up on the way home, or I want to do a review on this item. Boom, I can jot this down, grab a pen, grab this. Now I can have a place to put my notes. Keep an extra lighter in here. I just threw this in. I think I had this down in my basement, so I threw it in there. I do have some, I think this is 70-pound wire. This is originally for hanging very heavy pictures, but I do keep this around. This can serve a variety of functions. Actually, my buddy Nathan and I one time stopped in the city of Portsmouth in New Hampshire and helped out these two girls whose muffler had fallen off their car, and we had to use a handle from an old bucket. So it would have been nice to have something like this to help tie their muffler back onto their car so they could get home. So got that with me. Got my Everyday Tactical Vids business cards. And then last in here is my Leatherman Juice S2. Great little item. I do have a Super Tool 300, but this is much more compact and more lightweight, so I keep this here in the bag. And then down here on the bottom, there's nothing fancy, but got my iPod or iPhone cord, and then a plug, and then headphones. One thing that's a little bit tough about this pocket is just you got to kind of reach around to get in. Sometimes it is hard to access, but obviously not a huge deal, and keep my technology there. All right, let's head inside the bag, see what's inside. Now, as far as what's actually inside the bag, I try to keep this very lightweight because I have to put different books and things that I'm going to be carrying around for work, so I try not to fill up this entire thing. I do have a couple basics in here, a couple books for work. This is a journal, which is, I don't use this to just write down notes like I'm going to tear out a page and I got to, write a shopping list. This is actually my journal that I keep with me. So this one that I kept in the front, this one right here, is just for generic use. And then obviously, Mr. Pastor's going to have a Bible. And that's really all in this one front section. And then the back section, I do keep, this is a Voodoo Tactical hat, so it'll give me a little warmth in the cold weather. Bright orange bandana, and this is quite a large one, but this is good for signaling, just general use. So I keep that with me. This is kind of my triple pack all here together. I keep them all rubber banded together, but it's just a travel thing of Q-tips, and honestly, this is less about cleaning my ears and more about, like if I have to clean out a knife or some other tool or something that needs to, get cleaned into some tiny little nooks and cavities, whatever it is, whatever tactical items I have with me. This is great for that. I do have, you can see I got to fill them up, but I do have some batteries here, AAAs and some Surefire CR123s. Just ran out of my AA's, but I'm going to put some AA's in there as well. So this is my little battery case. And actually this is, I don't know what this case is from, but I taped them to the bottom of the container so they don't move around or roll around. And then this is a super basic Johnson & Johnson first aid kit. I think it was like $1.50 at the store. This is, just a basic, like if you get a cut, you got to clean a cut, whatever it is. I do have a pair of tweezers with a magnifying glass in there. I do, in my car survival kit, I've got a much more complete first aid kit, stuff that's got basically a gun wound kit, a severe trauma kit. So this is just something I keep on me on my person all the time. Got my light my fire spork in here, very, very lightweight. And I was actually watching a video the other day, I'll see if I can put a link down below, but of a guy who showed all his different EDC items and said this is the one he actually uses the most. So got that with me. And then I've got a couple other things. This is just a crumpled up Walmart bag, because you need like a bag to throw garbage in or to carry some stuff. So I just threw this into the bag. And then I've got, I'll take this plastic off here at some point, but I'll just leave it for now. Just a roll of duct tape, and you may have heard me say before, I'm not a huge fan of DUCK duct tape. I really like 3M, actually. That's my favorite kind of tape, or Gorilla tape. But I had to take that tape out of this bag and put it into something else for immediate use. So this is just my backup until I replace it. But having some duct tape in your bag, obviously, is a great thing to have. And that's it for the inside of the bag. There is one other pocket on this. It's actually the concealed carry pocket, which is hidden behind these pockets. There's just a Velcro strap here. You can open it up. And the one thing I keep in there is a set of mechanics gloves. And this is if you got to work on the car, or if you have to actually be out in the cold, these actually will give you a little coverage, or do any kind of work. It's nice to have something that's sturdy, and these are great gloves. So there you have it, the contents of my EDC bag. And I would say right now, I like the bag. The bag's great. I like the items that I have in it. It's a little bit heavier than I would like right now. So I probably will work on lightening the bag up a little bit so it doesn't have as much weight. But overall, it's definitely serving its purpose, and I've been happy with the bag. And in this current configuration that I have seen that situations that pop up, I do have the stuff that I need to kind of face those everyday challenges. So thanks for checking out the video. As always, I encourage you to subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Tumblr. More videos coming soon. Take care, everybody.